everyone, it's Nell with Little Yellow House Crafts. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being patient while we took a break. I did receive, I want to say a special thank you to those of you who emailed me or messaged me reaching out to make sure I was okay. We were fine. We just went on vacation, and I thought I told you in my last video, but if I didn't, I apologize for leaving you worried. We took almost two complete weeks off, and I kind of disconnected from everything. I didn't really check emails very often. I didn't hop on my YouTube channel to check how things were going there. So I have a lot of comments to catch up on. I will catch up on them. But we just kind of took it as an opportunity to decompress and have a break from all the chaos of this past summer. So thank you, everyone. I apologize that it's been a few weeks, but I am back and I have an update for you, and I anticipate being back with either weekly videos or every other week videos, and that kind of depends on you guys, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But anyway, I'm back. Our vacation was wonderful. We spent time with family. We were up by my parents' in the beautiful Mountain West. We were up in the mountains. It was gorgeous. We went boating and fishing. We went tubing down a canal. We had lots of cousin playtime, late game nights, board games. My family loves board games. That would be a fun video, all of our favorite games. But anyway, yeah, it was just a really wonderful, wonderful break. And the most special thing about it was that my grandmother got to come. My grandmother's my only grandparent who's still living. I've lost several of my grandparents in the last few years. 5 years ago, I had all four still living. And then I've lost 3 of them in recent years. So my grandmother's the only one left, and she came. Even in the midst of coronavirus, my mom asked her, you know, do you feel comfortable? Do you still want to come? And she said, my sweet grandmother, who's in her 90s, she's like, the Lord will take me when it's my time. And she came. We were all super careful before we went out. Myself and all of our siblings kind of quarantined ourselves for a couple weeks before our trip to try and keep Grandma as safe as possible. But she did great. None of us got sick. We were really careful, and we managed to be okay. And my grandma is home safe and sound. And it was wonderful. It was so special to get to have some great grandma time for my kids and their cousins. And my youngest, Jamie in particular, kind of formed a really special bond with her. I think because she mostly just kind of sat in her chair. She didn't move around as much as the rest of us. So every time he wanted to play with someone or show someone something, she was always sitting there. So she and he developed a sweet little bond. So anyway, it was wonderful. I was so happy to be there. It was kind of hard to come home, but I am glad to be back. We're glad to be back in our own space. We've picked school back up, so that's going well. And I have a lot of stitching to show you. I did get some stitching done on my trip, and I did finish a few things. So I will show you that, and yeah. So lots to talk about. I've got notes again, so please forgive me, but I have like 3 weeks of stuff to cover with you, and I don't want to forget anything. First thing I wanted to say, though, before I jump right into my fully finished object, if there is ever a problem with one of the links that I put in the description box down below, where I link patterns and fabrics and shops and stuff, if there's ever a problem, if you ever click on one of those and it takes you to the wrong place, will you please let me know? Will you drop a comment or send me an email or something to let me know so I can fix it? At this point now, I have hundreds of links that I'm tracking and trying to keep track of and make sure that they don't get mixed up. So if there's ever a problem with a link, please let me know. I think that happened to someone and they let me know and I was able to fix it, so thank you. But I think that's my only general announcement. So let's jump right in. I do have a fully finished object. I actually finished this right before we left on our vacation. So I'm excited to get to show it to you finally, because it's been, sitting waiting for me to film a video. I have been in the process of fully finishing all of my Country Cottage Needleworks Cottages of the Month, and a few other series as well, but especially this series because I've had so many of them done for so long. And I finished August to display, and I am just in love with this one, guys. I say this about every single one of these, but this might be my new favorite. I don't know. So this is Country Cottage Needleworks Cottages of the Month, August. Isn't it so beautiful? Okay, so let's hold it up a little closer. So August, again, it's on magnets, so this can pop off. It just has little magnets. And there are these magnets are in my Amazon shop if you're looking for them. And I just hot glue them on. So this is magnetized to the board. And then what I did for the topper, what's the best way to do this? This is the best way. So I have this big, beautiful aqua seashell I found at Joann's, I can't remember. So seashell, I've got a couple different colors of ribbon. I have this thick coral ribbon, this thin kind of light brown tan ribbon, and then this thinner like turquoise polka dot ribbon. And then I just have behind here, there you can see it now, I have some burlap ribbon behind, and then some flowers, some kind of seagrass, and these little pearls, kind of aqua and pink peach pearls. And I just think it goes like that. The burlap ribbon kind of curls backwards, so it's a little bit hard to see, but it's there. I just think this finish is so beautiful. I think it's so summery and beachy, and it's perfect for this particular pattern. When I did this, I did change the colors of this piece. It is charted for more just light blues, and I wanted to change it to these aquas and turquoises to make it a little bit more beachy. And so obviously I carried that up into the finish with the seashell. I love this seashell. Do you see this? This is natural. It's not painted. It's just the most beautiful kind of aqua turquoise colored seashell. So that is Country Cottage Needleworks Cottage of the Month, August, and this is now standing up on its little stand in my house, and August is almost over, so clearly I need to get moving and get September finished. September is the last month of the year of these that I have stitched. I am working on October, so that's gonna be, that should light a fire under my butt to get that one done. But yeah, I really love that. So that is my one fully finished object. I do have a whole bunch of finishes, and let's just jump right into them. The first one that I finished in the last 3 weeks, or since my last video, this was the one that we selected threads together. This is the Brenda Gervais September Wordplay. Try and get it without the glare. There it is. So this, in my video about selecting threads and substituting thread colors for my own choices, this was the one. This is one of the ones that we did together, and I wanted to just get it done. I just wanted to go for it. These are the thread colors that we chose. I say we because I pretend like you guys were there with me. Even though you weren't really there with me in person, but you were there with me in spirit. So I'm not going to go through all of the colors, because if you go back to that video and whoops, if you go back to that video, you can watch it and see exactly what the colors were that we chose. But it turned out beautifully. I love it. I think it's so autumnal, and I think it's just gorgeous. There is, I will warn those of you who may be starting these, there is some over one stitching in this one. This little girl, see this little tiny apple or berry or something that she has apparently picked from this tree? That is stitched over one. It is bitty. The apple and the leaves that she's holding in her hand is stitched over one. There's only about grand total 9 stitches over one. So if it's your first time stitching over one, it's really not very intimidating. It's only 2 colors and only 9 stitches. So this might be a good one to try it. But anyway, this is just beautiful. I stitched this as I'm stitching all of my word plays on a 36 count white Edinburgh linen by Zweigart that I then tea and coffee dyed a la Priscilla and Chelsea. I followed Priscilla and Chelsea's tutorial, The Real Housewives of Cross Stitch. I followed their kind of tutorial or how they do theirs, and I did mine exactly the same way. Tea and coffee dyed it, and then threw it into the oven at a low temperature to dry out and kind of set this color. And you can see it just made some really beautiful modeling, and it's a really nice neutral. It's dark enough that the white stands out, but it's light enough that, you know, nothing's getting lost on it. So this is my own tea coffee dyed 36 count linen. I used a 36 count, and I really love it. I think it turned out beautifully. I, of course, as always, changed the colors of all of the writing. They were all charted. Most of them were charted for, I think, the dark brown or something. I didn't like that, so I put some like gold and an orange and red and dark brown, and I just really like how it turned out. So that is my Brenda Gervais wordplay, September. That was my first finish. My next finish, oh, this is exciting. I did it! I finished Star Spangled Swine Farm. I know it's not, I just said that almost like I was German. Swine. Star Spangled Swine Farm. It's obviously well past Independence Day, but who the heck cares? I was so excited. I have not yet stitched the two smaller pieces, which I do want to do, so I don't consider this project completely done yet, but I have finished the big one. And here it is. Yay! It's so beautiful. There you go. Now you can see the whole thing. This is stitched on 32 count charcoal Belfast linen by Zweigart, and I love it. It's so cute. So last time you saw it, I had these flowers done and then the edge of the house here. So what I put in is the tree and the truck with the chickens and the pigs, and then I finished the garland, the banner bit, up to about here, which is where I left off. I just had this last side of the banner to do. So there you go. Sorry, it's kind of hard to hold it. There's the stuff that I stitched. That tree took me 3 days, maybe not 3 whole days, 2 whole days probably, to stitch. That is a lot of stitching in that tree, brown and green, and then some red Smyrna crosses. But anyway, so cute. Those pigs in the back of the truck, I'm in love. I think they're so funny. So cute. So that's Star Spangled Swine Farm. It's done. I have the piece that I want to finish this series of 4 on, but I'm not quite ready to fully finish this yet. I think I want to finish the other 2 pieces in this particular chart before I start figuring out how and, you know, in what manner I plan to fully finish these. But I'm so happy to have it done. And I do have enough fabric at the bottom. I think if I work in this corner, I can do the very smallest chart. The red, white, and moo, I believe, will fit. I don't think this will fit, but I have lots of this charcoal Belfast linen because I use it for all of my chalkboard stitching. So I will stitch the banner that says, I cannot speak today, that says Star Spangled Swine Farm on it. I will do that on a separate piece of fabric, but anyway, love it. So cute. I stitched this, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I stitched this not with the recommended fancy flosses. I used the DMC conversion, and the only differences in mine from the recommended DMC, wow, I'm almost out of white. I bought a bunch more white DMC. I think the only things that I changed were my reds, my blues, my greens. I can't remember. Maybe I should just go through them quickly. DMC Blanc, 347 was my dark red. 434 is my dark brown. 436 was my light brown. 517 was my dark blue. 518 was my light blue. 645 was my gray. 761 was my pink for the piggies. 987 is my dark green. 988 is my light green. 3072 is my very, very pale kind of gray blue. It's mostly in the house and the truck. Then I have a light red. 3328 is my light red. 3820 is my gold yellow. And those were the DMC colors that I used. I'm not sure how many of those are the recommended DMC and how many I replaced myself with what I had, but in case you're wondering, that's what I used for my Star Spangled Swine Farm. And I'm not putting these away yet because I am going to use these same ones for the other two small pieces in the chart. So that was finish number 2. And that was a Stitch Mania finish. I started that in Stitch Mania this year, so another Stitch Mania finish. I've now finished, like, I had 16 starts, I think. I gotta go back and look. I had 16 starts and I think I finished 8 or 9 now. 9, 10, 11, 12, 27, I don't know. Anyway, that was a Stitch Mania start. Finish number 3. I finished, don't get excited, I haven't finished this chart completely, but I did finish house number 2. I finished house number 1 during Stitch Mania or shortly after Stitch Mania, I believe. This was also a Stitch Mania start. And I wanted to finish the chart. I have finished house number 2 and I have started house number 3. I will show you my start on number 3 when we get to whips. But here is the first house I stitched. The first house I stitched and house number 2. So this is the one I stitched shortly after Stitch Mania or during Stitch Mania. And this is the one I just finished. And I finished this while I was on vacation when I was out west with my family. I love how the swirls in the tree look. I think that's so beautiful. And actually, because I changed the flosses to my own choices, and I will show them to you in a moment, I think my swirls actually show up better than in the picture on the chart, because the color that they used for the dark green in the recommended flosses is much more variegated, and so it goes dark to light quite dramatically, and it makes it kind of hard to see the swirls. I switched mine to, it isn't over dyed, but it's a little bit more consistent of a color throughout the length of the strand, and so it doesn't variegate quite so strongly, and so you can see the light colored swirls in the trees. I think it's so pretty. Anyway, so that is the Freedom House. So I have finished the America House and I have finished the Freedom House. I have started the Liberty House, which is the last one in the chart, and I will show you that during whips. But anyway, that is Freedom. So, finish number 2. I am almost done with this chart. When I finish the last one, that'll be Stitch Mania finish number, I have no idea. Last thing that I started and finished. This, I had no intention of starting. I didn't realize that this was going to pop into my life. But I don't even know how I found it. I think I was clicking around on 123 Stitch and I saw some designs that I quite liked. Excuse me, by Shannon Christine Designs. Now she is a very beautiful designer. She does some really beautiful stuff that's right up my alley. Very colorful, but whimsical and kind of seasonally inspired. I mean, just totally right up my alley. And so I saw some of her things on 123 Stitch that really caught my eye. And I thought to myself, I haven't been to her website in a while. She has a website and I've been there before to click through and look at some of her stuff. She sells her patterns through her website as a PDF, and then you can also buy paper charts through shops like 123 Stitch or other online stores. So I went to her website, and at the top, like menu bar on her website, I saw a new tab that said subscriptions. And I thought, what is that? And I clicked on it. There's only one subscription she's offering, and when I found it, it was gonna start in about 3 days. It was perfect timing. And I saw it and I just fell in love. So I'm gonna link her website down below, the subscription page where you can join this club. It's kind of it's a club, a monthly club where from August until December, and I'm not sure, hold on, let me finish my thought first. From August to December, for those 5 months, every month you get charged, and she emails you the charts for 2 new Christmas ornaments. So there will be a total of 10 ornaments in all, 2 for August, 2 for September, 2 for October, November, December. So 10 ornaments in all. You get 2 a month. And if you join the subscription for the ornament club, and then you join the corresponding Facebook group, which I have also linked down below, for this ornament club, she then also posts 1 bonus chart every month just for the members of the Facebook group. So you can get a total of up to 3 charts every month for a total of 15 Christmas ornament designs. And they're beautiful. I love Shannon Christine's style. She does kind of a typography style with these, and the colors and the, let me just show you. These are the 2 charts for August. Holly Jolly and 'Tis the Season. So beautiful. And then because I am a member of the Facebook group, she just a couple of days ago posted the bonus chart for August, which I have also finished. Do not open till 25th December. So those are the first 3 charts in the Ornament Club. And I finished all 3 of them. They stitch up really quickly. They're only 50 stitches by 50 stitches. Let me see the best way to show this to you. Ooh, they're so pretty. Okay, here's Holly Jolly, and I don't know if you can see, but there's Krynic gold. She uses a lot of sparkle in her designs. She also likes to use a lot of beads. There are beads, red beads for this, for all of these ornaments. I have not put them in though yet because I'm stitching this on my Q-snap currently. I may switch it to a roller frame, I haven't decided, but I'm gonna put all the beads on when the entire series is done. So, Holly Jolly, 'Tis the Season, you can see lots of sparkly gold in that one. And wherever you see like open spaces on this green ornament, it's kind of a funny shape because all those open spaces right there will be filled in with little red beads. So 'Tis the Season, and then the bonus chart she just posted a few days ago. This took me, I think, 1 day to stitch. That's all I stitched on that day, but I did quite a bit of stitching, but I stitched this in 1 day. Do not open until 25th December or 25 December. Look at how cute. The fun thing about this is that they're not the same color scheme every month. She has this traditional red and green, but next month's in September will be aqua and pink kind of color scheme, and then in October it'll go back to red and green, then November will be the aqua and pink, and then December will go back to the red and the green. So there will be other colors mixed in, and I'll show you the colors. She charts it for all DMC other than the sparkle thread, which I'm using Krynic. Hold on. I have my needle minder and needle threader attached to my ring. When I'm using Krynic or other metallic threads, I find this particular needle threader to be a lifesaver for getting my needle threaded with that metallic thread. But anyway, these are the colors. So you can see this also has the pinks and aquas that will be used in next month's designs, but the red and greens are obviously what I used for this month. So those are the DMCs. I'm not gonna list them out because you can find them on her website when you join the subscription. She's got them all listed. And then I'm using the gold Krynic. This spool is almost gone, so I have another spool of it. I just had that Krynic in my stash, as did I have the red beads called for. These were also in my stash. This is Mill Hill number 02013, which is the called for little red beads. So these are what will go on at the very end. Because I know people want to know this, I am stitching my ornaments on a fat quarter of 28 count mushroom Lugana. I just had this in my stash. I bought this years ago. This is back when 123 Stitch was still doing tags on their fabric instead of the printed stickers. So that's how long I've had this in my stash, and I finally get to use it. So this is 28 count mushroom Lugana. It's a fat quarter, and I'm doing them vertically on the fabric, and I think I've calculated it. If I leave about 2 inches between each design, I think I can fit all 15 on here. I think I can fit 5 rows of 3 across on one fat quarter. Now, if you want to leave more border than I do, then you might not be able to fit them all on a fat quarter. But I don't need much of a border because I'm gonna finish them as little square ornaments, and so I'm okay to really put them close together. But anyway, I think these colors look really good on the mushroom Lugana. I think I'm glad I got to basically stitch from stash with this project. I ordered the patterns, printed them out, and had everything to start in my stash. All of the DMC I needed. I had the beads in my stash, I had the Kreinik in my stash, and I had the fabric. So I stitched from stash on this one, which is great. And I love them. I think she does such a beautiful job. I think her designs are so elegant and tasteful, but beautiful. And they're right up my alley. They're colorful, they're a little bit whimsical, they're seasonal. It's totally a Nell project. But anyway, those are the Shannon Christine Design Ornament Club's patterns from August. So let's talk about details here. I believe, and this could be wrong, I believe if you hop on and join this ornament club in the next week before August is over, I do believe she will send you August's designs. However, it does say on the website, if you join the club in a later month, you will not get, notification popped up on my phone. You will not get previous month's designs. You will have to purchase them separately. They will be available to purchase, but they'll be slightly more expensive, than like $2 more than people paid for the subscription, if that makes sense. I believe every month I pay $8 to get the 2 charts, and I believe they'll be available $5 each after the month is over. So you could get the 2 charts for $10. So it's $2 more. It's not a big deal. If you join a little bit late and you don't get the previous months, they're not so absurdly expensive that you couldn't purchase them, but it's definitely in your interest to sign up sooner rather than later to save you a couple bucks. I haven't confirmed this with her, but I do believe that if you sign up in the month of August, you will get the August charts. If you wait until September 1st to sign up, you will not get these first 2 charts. You will have to purchase them separately, and you'll start your subscription with the September charts. I do believe, however, that if you join the Facebook group at any time, you will have access to all 5 of the bonus charts, but I don't know that that's true. So all of this to say, if you want these charts for the subscription price for $8, join now, follow the link, join her subscription now, and request to join the Facebook group. It is a closed Facebook group. You will have to request to join. I got added within like 10 minutes of requesting, but they do ask when you request to join, you need to have your order number from when you joined the subscription, just so that they can confirm that you actually did join the club. And then once you're on there, if you go up to the file section, you should find the bonus chart, the do not open until 25th December chart available. You can stitch from whatever PDF reader you prefer on your iPad or your phone or whatever, or if you're like me and are old school and prefer to print out hard copies, you can do that too. But yeah, if you want the first 2 charts in the series for the subscription club price. Make sure you join before September 1st, is what I'm trying to say. I hope that made sense. Anyway, love it. I think they're so beautiful. I mean, who doesn't love Christmas ornaments? And I'm really excited actually that they're in 2 different colorways, because I think it'll just make it more interesting when I hang them on a tree. And I think the colorways actually look really good together. You have the very traditional with the slightly more retro with the aqua and pink. I just think it's gonna be so pretty. So those were my last finishes. I got 3 ornaments done for the Ornament Club, and you will be seeing more of those as when September comes around and I download the next few charts. Those will be an ongoing whip, hopefully through the end of the year. I'd kind of like to get them done. They stitch up so quickly that I think I could totally get them done as they come out, no problem. Okay, those are finishes. Let's get on to whips. I have 2 whips that I worked on. The first one is one that you just saw, my Waxy Moon Designs Patriotic House Trio. I really want to get this whip done because I have so many of these Waxy Moon Design house trios that I really want to stitch. So I finished the second one and I started the third one. This is a fat 1/8 of fabric. So here's the first 2, and then I just flipped it upside down and started working on house number 3. You can see all I've gotten done is the border and then the bunting at the bottom, and I'm filling in grass, and my needle is in my fabric with thread hanging off of it because this is what I was stitching on last night. Just putting in the grass beneath the house. This will probably take me 1 to 2 days more to finish, and then Patriotic House Trio will be done. I am stitching this on 32 count Vintage Smoky White by Zweigart, which is one of their faux over-dyed fabrics. It's not actually over-dyed. It has kind of a mottled light gray over white. It's a very beautiful, you can kind of see it there, very beautiful fabric. It's white without being super bright, intense white because of that gray mottling. It just kind of antiques it up a little bit. So that's 32 count Vintage Smoky White, and I'm using my own colors that I chose. I think almost all Victorian mottos. There are a few other ones, and it's been a while since I showed these to you, and people always ask. So look at how beautiful, such beautiful like vintage Americana colors that I chose. I'm proud of my color choices on this one. I'm using Spectacular Claret, Prim Berry, a Golden Harvest. Can you see that? There we go. Sunshine Glory, Garden Glory, Yucca Plant or Yucca Plant. This is the only color I'm using that's not a Victorian motto, and that is Classic Colorworks Blacksmith Blue is my dark blue that I'm using in the border of each chart. Pilgrim Blue is my light blue, or my lighter blue. Oh, I do have another non-Victorian motto. This is Gentle Art Soot. It's my gray. Oh, and another one. I can't remember anything. Weeks Dye Works Rust is my brown. And then Victorian motto Bread Dough I'm using as my white. I wanted something that was slightly off-white. This is more of an ecru, really. She put corresponding DMC color as 822, but it's kind of an ecru instead of a white. And I wanted that, let me show you. I wanted that just so that you could see the white against the white fabric. It's just a little bit more obvious, like even in the flag stripes. It pops enough off of the white fabric that it doesn't get lost. So that's why I went with ecru or bread dough. And yeah, that is whip number 1. I am gonna get these, I am gonna get these done this week, hopefully. I really am feeling motivated to finish that. The only other thing I worked on that didn't get finished, I took this with me on our family trip, and the only reason it didn't get finished is because I ran out of thread. Double Double! I am almost done with Double Double, but again, this eats floss like a monster, and I went through an entire skein of $33.71 while I was out there, and I went to the Walmart near my parents' house and they didn't have it. They were very, very low on DMC stock, so I had to stop. But here it is. So I got the witches finished, and the ground that they're standing on, and the cauldron, and the steam, and all of the things. The only stuff I have left to do is the bottom border, which has the cats and the jack-o'-lantern. This section down here is all I have left to do, and then this will be done. I did change some colors, in case you're wondering. It is charted to have a third color, to have gray as the smoke, and I didn't like that so much. I thought the gray kind of got lost a little bit and would have probably gotten lost on the fabric that I'm stitching it on, so I just went ahead and did it in the orange, the same color as the flames and everywhere else, and I think it looks great. So change your colors. As always, stitching this on 25 count ivory Lugana 3/2 with the DMC. And as I've said before, for every single one of these charts, especially if you're stitching on 25 count 3/2 like me, buy like at least 4 skeins of 33.71 for every one of these charts. It eats a lot of floss, but I think it looks so good. The color is so opaque and dense, and it's not, the coverage is really good, and so I don't regret it. I really like how it looks, but yeah, it's just a lot. And I do, when I'm stitching on these, I use a size 24 or 22 needle, a really big needle, and that is so that as you're pulling 3 strands of thread through the fabric, it doesn't get shredded to pieces. If you use a bigger needle, it opens the hole up a little more, and it makes your thread last a little longer and stay a little less fuzzy. So anyway, that's double double. That was my last whip. Now that I'm home and can get some more 33.71, I have plenty of 33.71 in my stash. So I will grab another skein of that. Ooh, that's the chart. I will grab another skein of that and finish this hopefully in the next week or 2. And that will be a Stitch Mania finish, and Patriotic House Trio will be a Stitch Mania finish, and I will I think I will only have like 3 or 4 more Stitch Mania pieces that I started that I haven't yet finished. Woot woot! Okay. I need my notes now. Okay, we covered FFO, we covered finished objects, we covered whips, and let's get on to haul. I have a few interesting and fun things to show you. First, I was going through my my finish bin of finished pieces that I have not yet fully finished, trying to decide what I want to work on in the next few months. And I came across my Prairie Schooler Easter eggs. Do you guys remember those? The vintage eggs and the folk eggs charts. I did both of them. I did them both on black 18 count Aida. They're really beautiful. They're very small little Easter eggs, and I've always wanted to finish them as little oval Easter egg ornaments to hang on like an Easter tree. And I started thinking about how it would work for me to finish them. And I realized that if I want to finish them as little oval Easter egg ornaments, I would have to cut out, let's see, there's 8 in each chart, which makes 16, which means I would need 32 cut out ovals to finish them as Easter eggs. One for the stitching side and one to put the backing fabric on, and then you put them together. And I thought to myself, that sounds miserable, cutting out 32 ovals. I don't mind cutting out mat board straight lines because I can use my rotary cutter and it goes nice and straight and no problem. But cutting mat board with scissors is arduous and it's messy. It is really hard to get a nice clean line, and to cut out 32 mat board ovals, I was like, that's not happening. So then I thought, okay, how can I get some mat board ovals that I don't have to cut out? So I searched on Etsy, I searched on Google, eBay, couldn't really find anything. I then thought, well, maybe I can go to my Hobby Lobby, and they have their computer, their mat board computer that cuts things out with a robot arm. I know because I worked there and I used that machine a lot. And they can cut out shapes. This machine can also cut out unique shapes. And I thought, well, I can go and have them cut out 32 little oval shapes for me, but they charge like, I want to say like $1 a cut or something. That'd be $32. That's a little excessive for cutting out a bunch of little mat board shapes. And then I had a light bulb moment. I know that for scrapbookers and like mixed media artists and stuff, chipboard is a really big thing. Chipboard shapes that are either cut out, you know, cut out with a laser or cut out with like a die cut. And chipboard, all chipboard is very thin cardboard, really. And it's much thinner, easier to cut. And because of that, you can use die cutting machines. You can use like a Sizzix die cutting machine. And there are all these sellers on Etsy who sell chipboard shapes that are die cut. So I thought, I wonder if there's a chipboard shape, an oval, that is close to the size that I need that I could just purchase from someone. I went on Etsy, I searched chipboard ovals, and I couldn't find, there were lots of oval frames, like where the center's cut out to put out over a picture or something in a scrapbook. So I emailed one of these shop owners on Etsy, and I said, can I have the blanks that you use when you cut out these frames and you use the die cut and you take out the center? I want those center pieces that you cut out to get those oval frames, and I need them to be as close to this size dimensions as possible. And I gave her height by width because they give that to you in the Prairie Schooler chart of what size you need to finish them. And she said, well, I don't have that exact size, but I have this size, and it was very, very close. And I bought 36 from her, 36 chipboard ovals. I have ovals to finish my ornaments on. They're nearly perfect. They're a little bit taller than they are wide for the shape that, for the size that I stitched mine and for the dimensions of the Prairie Schoolers, but who the heck cares? They are the perfect size. My stitching will fit in the center with a little tiny bit of a border, maybe 1/8 of an inch of a border all the way around them. There might be slightly more border height-wise than width-wise, but I don't care because I didn't have to cut all of these out by myself. So I bought, I think there are 12 in this pack. Hold on, close them up. There are 12 in this pack, and there are 24 in this pack of these chipboard oval shapes. So now I can finish my Prairie Schooler ornaments without having to cut out 32 matboard ovals by hand. Hallelujah, right? So if you have a unique shape of something that you need to finish and you don't want to cut it out by hand, consider chipboard. Hop on Etsy, find these die cutters and chipboard sellers, and see if they can cut you the shape you need. I just emailed her. She got back to me right away and was like, sure, no problem. I'll put some up in my shop tomorrow. She had them up. I ordered them, and they came. This is my invoice. I paid $12, including shipping, to get all of these. They were, let's see, for the 25 and 12, so I got 37. For the 25, I spent, it was $5 for 25, and for 12, it was $3.50. So they were really cheap, and then I just paid shipping. Shipping was only $3.20. She was very reasonable with shipping. All in, I spent less than $12 on these, which I know people are like, $12 on cardboard. Hashtag worth it to not have to cut out all of these ovals by hand. The, where is my, here we go. The shop is Studio C. Can you, oh, there's, let's not show everyone my address. Studio C, with C is spelled C-E-E. So she is the chipboard seller that I used, but there's a whole bunch of them. And yeah, that was the first part of my haul, and I'm so excited to have that because now I can actually finish those ornaments and not feel like it's going to be the most annoying project in the history of the world. Okay, next bit of haul. I got my July threads from Victorian Motto. I'm not going to go through them. They're beautiful, as always. Always love them. Always happy to get my Victorian mono threads. This is a funny story. When I went out west for our family reunion, I brought all my stitching with me, and I didn't bring needles. I brought needle minders. I even brought scissors. On the airplane, I used just some child safety scissors. Went through no problem in my carry-on, in my personal item, and they didn't have a problem with it. But I forgot needles. So when I got out to my parents' house, I went to Walmart and I bought a pack of DMC needles. They didn't have size 26, which is my preferred size, so I bought a pack of size 28s. And guys, I haven't used DMC needles in 5 years. I switched to Bowen needles about 5 years ago and I've never looked back. DMC has stepped up their game. That's all I'm gonna say. These were way nicer than I remember DMC needles being. It was smooth as silk. It didn't tarnish. I don't have a huge problem with needles tarnishing anyway. I think the pH of my skin is such that it doesn't, I don't have a huge problem with that. The nickel plating didn't wear off as I was using it, because that happens sometimes, like the nickel plating will wear off of the steel as you're stitching. Didn't have that problem. Granted, I only used it for about a week and a half, but it's the only needle I used for like a week and a half. All of my stitching, right? No problem. It was so great. And they're like $1.50 at Walmart. So, last time I bought DMC needles, they hadn't done this redesign. I think the package is beautiful. They've done a very nice redesign on the package, and I don't know if they're sourcing their needles from a different place now or what, but they've stepped up their game. I can only speak to my experience with this particular package of needles. If you go and buy a package of needles and they're terrible, sorry, but it's $1.50, so I don't feel so bad. But anyway, my experience is not half bad. I still prefer my Bowens, I think, because I just like my size 26, and they didn't have 26, they had 28s, but hey, these worked just fine. So, good job DMC for stepping up the game on your needles. Yay! Last bit of haul, some patterns and fabric, because we love that. I have now collected almost the entire collection of Waxing Moon Design House Trios. I think I only have one left that I haven't purchased, and that's the Christmas House Trio. That's gonna be my next purchase. But anyway, I purchased the 3 autumn ones. I bought the Autumn House Trio and the Halloween House Trio, and then they have a new one, which is the Haunted House Trio, which is different from the Halloween. Halloween is more just like generic Halloween autumn with like bats flying in the sky and a little ghost coming out the window or the chimney. Candy corn, just more generic. And then the Haunted House Trio is definitely spookier. Like the houses look kind of run down and scraggly trees, and that's like a green snake. There's a green snake wrapped around that tree. Anyway, so the Haunted House Trio is definitely spookier. So anyway, got 3 autumn themed house trios. I will probably obviously display Halloween and Haunted House in October, and I think I will do the Autumn House likely in November, because it says like leaves, harvest, and it's not Halloween themed, it's more like harvest, Thanksgiving-y. But I bought those, and I checked my stash, and I had most of the fabric I wanted to use for those, but I was running a little bit low on Vintage Country Mocha, 32 count, which I think I will be using for 2 of them, for the Harvest, possibly the Harvest. I might use Vintage Sahara for the Harvest. I haven't decided yet. I will use this either for the Autumn House Trio or the Halloween House Trio. And then I'll probably use Vintage Sahara for the other one, whichever one I don't use this for. And then I needed a little bit more of the Stormy Night. And this is what I will use for the Haunted House Trio, for sure, because it's a little spookier. So this is 32 count Smoky Night, or Stormy Night Belfast, which is their vintage kind of fake mottled gray. So I bought those 2 pieces. These are both just fat 8ths. 13 by 18 cuts, because you saw with my Vintage Smoky White for my Patriotic House Trio, it's perfect. Perfect size to finish each of those. And then I bought the last 2 charts in my series of these by Hands On Design and Priscilla Blaine. These are the Farmhouse Chalk. So I just finished Star Spangled Swine Farm. I do have the, what is the spring one called? Cottontail Farm? It's the bunny one. I have the spring one. I bought that one first actually, but I didn't start it. And then I bought Star Spangled Swine Farm, started that, it's now finished. And I bought the last 2. This is Jack-o'-lantern Junction Farm. Pumpkins and ghosties, so cute. And Holly Jolly Farm. How Christmassy is that? So beautiful. And as always, they each come with the 2 smaller ones, the banner piece and a small little piece that's Kathy finished as pillows. These are the banner and the small piece for the Jack-o'-lantern Junction Farm. So bought the last 2 in the series. I now have all 4 in the series and I plan to stitch all of them. I bought some more of the fabric to go with them because I always use the 32 count charcoal Belfast. And then just to make sure I didn't run out for all of the smalls that come with them, the banner pieces, I bought a few more small cuts, fat 16ths of charcoal Belfast. So this is 9 by 13. These are just the small cuts to do those banner pieces on. Bought a few more pieces of that. That was my haul for the last month-ish. Chipboard eggs, Victorian motto threads, DMC needles, and some patterns and charts. Almost the last thing, I put in the description box of this video that we were going to have a little giveaway. This was sort of interesting. As I've started to get more followers on YouTube, I've gotten emails from different companies offering to send me stuff for me to review and show to you. And I don't always say yes. Sometimes if they're really kind of random, obscure things that I don't think really apply to cross-stitching, I'll just say no thanks. Every once in a while, it will be something that's specific to cross-stitching, and I'll say sure. Like mybobbin.com, you know, they were so sweet and helped me out when I was sending that package to Anna in Russia. Hi Anna, if you're watching. And they offered, you know, to send me something regardless. Sometimes I say yes, sometimes I say no. If I don't think I will ever stitch it, I usually say no because I don't want them to waste their stuff. But if I'm interested and I think it might be valuable to you, then I will say yes. And on this one, I was kind of torn. I was emailed by a company called theeasystitch.com. They are a new website. It just went live a couple weeks ago. And they have floss for sale. And it is, they call it like DMC equivalent. Basically, it's floss from China instead of from France that is numbered the same as DMC and is less expensive than DMC. It's about half the price now because sometimes if you get a sale on DMC, say at Joann's, you can get it for about 40 cents a skein, sometimes 30 cents a skein if it's a really good deal, if you get like 3 for $1 kind of situation, but those are few and far between now. A few years ago it was easier to get those sales, and now DMC's really kind of tightened down on thread sales. So I mean, you're usually spending anywhere between about 40 and 50, 60 cents a skein. And if you're buying your DMC from like a brick and mortar cross-stitch shop where they have to have a little bit bigger of a profit margin, you might pay as much as, I don't know, 75 cents a skein. So DMC is not cheap. All of this to say, it's getting, and it keeps getting more expensive. Granted, it's very good quality cotton. It comes from France. It's, you know, it's good stuff, and it's kind of cross-stitcher staple, right? We all use DMC. But it is expensive, and I know some people, you know, people who are wanting to create a full set or something of DMC, it could be a little bit cost prohibitive. So this is thread that comes from China. It is cotton, I believe. I have not been able to verify. I really should do a burn test on this and see if it burns or melts. If you do a burn test, please do it outside and please use caution because it's fire. Just need to say that. If you hold a piece of thread to a match, a lit match, and you see what happens to it when you burn it. If it just burns and smokes, it's cotton. It's a natural fiber. It's either cotton, linen, or wool. Natural fibers burn. Synthetic fibers, nylon, polyester, rayon, they melt because they're essentially plastic, right? So you can do a burn test to check fiber content. I haven't done that yet. To the best I can discover, I believe this is cotton, but who knows? So far I've been pretty impressed with the quality. It seems to stitch very smoothly, very well. The color, it appears to be color fast. I tested kind of that, but I can't promise you it's color fast. As far as I've checked, it's color fast. And the colors are very closely matched to DMC. There's a few colors I've seen here that aren't exact matches, but they're very close. So they call it Colorful Creations cross stitch thread. You can buy it at theeasystitch.com, and I will link it down below. And they do not sell individual skeins. You buy them in packs. And you don't really get to choose your colors, which is a downside. But if basically this might be of use to you if you're looking to expand your collection of DMC colors, if you're looking to finish a full set, or you just would like to have a nice wide range to choose from. So, because I choose my own colors all the time, there's absolutely no reason you couldn't substitute, but that's something to keep in mind. You can't choose your colors, and they sell them in packs. They sell them in 25 count packs, 50 count packs, 100, 150, 200 count packs, and then what I believe is a full set. It's 447 colors, which is a full set. And I did some calculations. Their smallest set, their 25 pack, sells for $9.97, which is about 40 cents a skein. So not that much different from DMC. But if you buy their bigger packs, for example, their 447 color pack is $89.97, which works out to 20 cents a skein. So it's much more economical than DMC, especially if you buy their larger packs. I think the price difference between DMC and this thread becomes markedly better in the packs 100 and over. So all of that to say, let me show it to you. They reached out to me and offered to send me a couple packs to share with you guys, to try it out myself and to share with you guys. So they sent me two 25 count packs, which is their smallest size. And then they sent me one 50 count pack. It's packaged in these plastic bags, embroidery thread, 50 colors. You can see there's only one paper tag on them rather than the two that come on DMC, but you can see the numbers are the same number system as DMC. For example, these reds here, we have 666, 817, 321, and 816. So 4 of the most commonly used like Christmas reds right there. I think I'm using 3 of those colors in those Shannon Christine ornament designs. So, and you can see here, this is a 50 pack, and they do a pretty good job of giving you a little bit of every color. We got reds, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, brown, tan, white, black, peach. They do a pretty good job, I think, in giving you a wide color selection. And from what I'm gonna pull one out. From what I can see and feel, it feels very similar to DMC. It's definitely a mercerized cotton. Mercerization is what makes DMC cotton shiny. Cotton is not naturally shiny. Mercerization is a chemical process that it goes through, usually after or during the dye process, that makes it shiny. It lays all the cotton fibers down really smoothly and makes them shiny. It is definitely mercerized cotton. You can see it's got a little bit of a sheen on it. It is a 6-strand, just the same as DMC. And it looks very similar. It might be ever so slightly fluffier than DMC, which some people prefer. I know there are some people who really prefer anchor floss to DMC because they find it a little bit fluffier, which gives a slightly better coverage. So you might actually find you prefer this to DMC. You can see that beautiful sheen on it. It's definitely mercerized cotton. And I believe it's cotton, 100% cotton, but again, I haven't done the burn test to verify. So I was kind of curious. I know that there are other like Chinese thread brands that people use that they can get shipped through AliExpress or whatever that's a lot cheaper than DMC. And I've never used them. I don't use a lot of straight DMC anymore, and I already have a full set. So I'm not in the process of trying to grow my collection. But if you are new to cross stitch, are looking for a way to get a larger quantity of thread for cheaper than you can get it in the stores or online, DMC, this might be a good option for you. For $90, you can get a full set of colors, 447 colors. That's a lot, okay? So it might be worth a shot. It might be worth checking out if that kind of consideration applies to you. So I've linked it down below so that you can hop on and order it yourself. Their website feels rudimentary. It's not a really fancy website. This is all they sell is this thread, but it seems perfectly reputable to me. I mean, they sent me everything and I haven't had any problems. So, you know, give it a shot if it's worth it to you. There are some downsides, there are some upsides to this, but it's worth a shot. However, I have these 3 packs of the Easy Stitch Colorful Creations cross stitch thread to share with you guys. So I have 1 pack of 50 and 2 packs of 25. And all I want you to do to enter this giveaway, please be a subscriber, like this video, and leave me a comment down below using the word thread in the comment somewhere, because what I'll do is I'll use a random comment picker for my next video, and I will just search the word thread. So any comment that includes the word thread will be entered in the giveaway. Like my video, be a subscriber, and comment down below with the word thread somewhere in your comment, and you can be entered to win these. I will send these anywhere in the world. These are small enough packages that I will send them overseas if I need to. So even if you're not in the US, feel free to enter the giveaway. 1 subscriber will win the pack of 50 and 2 will win one of these 25 packs of thread. So we'll have 3 winners altogether, and we'll draw those next week and you guys can try them out. I'm really curious about this thread because I know people complain all the time. DMC is getting real expensive. And this might be a good option for you. It really does seem to be very nice quality thread. So that's that. That's all I've got for you guys today about cross stitch. I do have one question for you as my subscribers before we leave. Oh, I have 2 things. First, let's do this before we do the last question. I get asked all the time what I like to read. And to be honest, it's unusual for me to actually read paper copies of books nowadays. I usually prefer audiobooks because I'm so busy. I am a homeschooling mom of little kids and I'm a cross stitcher, which means that my hands are busy most of the day. Even in my downtime, my hands are busy stitching. So I usually go for audiobooks, but every once in a while, I like to sit down and read an actual book. And this is an author that I will always have hard copies of her books on my shelf because she is one of my favorite authors of all time. And that is Georgette Hayer. If you are a fan of Jane Austen or of Regency romance, the way Jane Austen wrote Regency romance, nothing sexual in them. Very clean, extremely witty, hilarious situations and incredible character development. So Georgette Hayer was an author in the 30s and 40s, and she wrote a whole bunch of Regency romance novels. She also wrote some mysteries and things, but I just love her Regency romance. Here's a whole bunch more of her books. Her full list of Regency romance, which is kind of, you know, here we go. Here, these are all of her Regency romance novels. There's like 30 of them. They're brilliant. They're so well written. I think because she wrote in the 30s and 40s, the The quality of her writing is excellent, but it's very accessible. It's not hard to read at all. If you can read Jane Austen, you can read Georgette Hayer. And her characterizations are hilarious and brilliant, and she just writes the most delightful stories. And I love her. I read her over and over and over again. Her books I always come back to, as often as I go back to Jane Austen, honestly. Jane Austen's Emma is my favorite Jane Austen book, and I've read that probably 40 times in my life. And I class Georgette Hayer almost at the same level as Jane Austen, maybe just a step down, but so close. Very similar styles, and so witty and funny. Her books make me laugh out loud. Anyway, this is Georgette Hayer. These are two of her books. This is Regency Buck and The Foundling. I like both of these. Some of my favorite Georgette Hayers I've actually lent to friends, so I can't show them to you, but The Grand Sophie is one of my all-time favorites. The Corinthian is one of my all-time favorites. Arabella is one of my all-time favorites. I have so many favorites. It's hard to pick a favorite. Pharaoh's Daughter is another favorite. Yeah. I just love her books. So if you've never read Georgette Hayer and you like light, funny, romantic stories that are clean and will make you giggle, and they're just an escape. They're just like comfort food for my soul. Give Georgette Hayer a try. You can buy hard copies of her books. Check on eBay. Older editions, paperback editions of her books are very inexpensive to find. I like to collect these because I think they're really beautiful. These are the newer editions. You can find these on Amazon between $16 and $19 a piece, so I'm collecting them slowly. If you prefer hard copies, but a lot of libraries have her audiobooks available through Overdrive or RB Digital or Hoopla or some of those audiobook borrowing like apps. You know what I'm saying. You can borrow the audiobooks through your library for a lot of her novels. I would warn you though, some library audiobook versions of her stories have been abridged, and I hate the abridged versions. They're not even that long. I don't know why they're abridging them. Would you abridge Jane Austen? It bothers me. So just be careful when if you're looking for an audiobook version. I have been burned by that before. I've checked out The Grand Sophie on audiobook to listen to, and I was like, where's that whole chapter about such, because I've read it so many times and it was missing, and I realized I had checked out an abridged version. Always go for the full-length version. Don't do the abridged, but you can check out audiobooks through your library. And your library will probably have a lot of her hard copies on their shelves as well, because she's incredibly popular with romance readers who prefer clean romance. She's not Christian. She wasn't a Christian romance writer, but her books are just clean because she was writing in the 30s and 40s. Like I said, it's very Jane Austen-esque. I just love it. And her writing is unparalleled in the world of romance writing. Her writing is so good. So good. So, Georgette Hayer, if you want something good to read. Okay, now what I was gonna say. This is a long video. I had a lot to catch you guys up on. I've had so many people asking about videos with different content than cross stitch, and so I want to put it to you guys, and I might put a poll up maybe midway through this week for people to comment on and to vote in a poll. But I'm just curious, are you guys interested in videos about other topics than cross stitch? I have lots of interests. I love to cook, and I am on a quest to find the very best recipe for every type of food you can think of. I love to cook, and how I do my meal planning and shopping and cooking might be of interest. How I keep my house clean. I use a kind of a modified Fly Lady, if you guys have heard of the Fly Lady. I use kind of a modified Fly Lady system where I have a schedule and a routine that I use to keep my house clean and tidy, which some people have asked about. I homeschool, and I know I've had people ask me about what homeschooling curriculums and philosophies I follow and how we organize our homeschool. So basically, I'm kind of interested in all things homemaking. Let's put it that way. Homemaking, parenting, homeschooling, and then crafting and reading Georgette Hayer. So if you are interested in videos on other topics, will you please let me know down below? Because I've never made a video on other topics really, because I didn't think you guys would want that since you're here for cross stitch. But I have so many subscribers now that, you know, maybe not regularly, but maybe like once a month I do a video on a different topic. And if you're not into it, you don't have to watch it, and you can just come back when it's cross stitch again. But I don't know. I'm just asking you guys what you'd be interested in seeing. So if you would comment down below and let me know. That's all I've got for you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment with the word thread if you want to be entered to win one of these packs of Colorful Creations cross-stitch thread. And then comment down below with what kind of topics you're interested in me making videos about. But that's all I've got, guys. This was a long video, so thanks for hanging in there with me. Take care of yourselves, stay healthy, stay safe. If you've got kids starting school, I feel like we're going into the Hunger Games. Like, you guys have seen the Hunger Games movies? Best of luck to your kiddos. I admire those of you who have had to make difficult decisions regarding your kids' education. I don't think homeschooling is right for everybody. It's right for our family, and it's right for a lot of families, but I don't think it's right for everybody. So if you have had to make the very difficult and courageous decision either to send your kids back to school or to keep them home, either to homeschool or do distance learning, rock on, mamas and daddies out there. I am so proud and admire you so very much, because this is not an easy time for anybody. So best of luck with all of that starting. I hope the decision that you've made for your family ends up working really well for you, and my thoughts and prayers are with you and your kids. But yeah, take care, everyone. Hopefully I'll see you either next week or the week after, but happy stitching too, and I'll see you next time. Bye.